per the tariff context, the U.S. Customer Border Protection (CBP) issued with a whole release order on the product of Sundar bee plantation in December 2020 because supposed forced labor condition. The restriction is not a common tariff but has the same effect by holding back Sundar bee from reaching the U.S. market and damaging both revenue and brand reputation. Last but not least, for the rationale for U.S. action, documented instance of coerced labor in the plantation field, U.S. commitment to enforcing international labor standards, political pressure from the non-governmental organization and consumer advocacy association. And the last one is the article this article analyzed the impact of such restriction on the Sundar bee strategic response and offer future-proof suggestion.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Faizatul binti Udin, 2240820. So I'll be presenting a brief pastel analysis about Malaysia's palm oil industry, a vital part of our economy that faces growing external challenges. Politically, the industry is affected by US tariff and import bans due to labor and environmental issues. Agencies like MPOB and COP are working hard to protect Malaysia's reputation globally. Economically, despite the tariff, palm oil export to the US rose by 70% in 2023. However, smallholders still face pressure from price volatility and rising compliance costs. Socially, they are concerned over labor exploitation, especially involving migrant workers. At the same time, industry support over 500,000 smallholders and helps rural development. Technologically, advancement like drones and smart farming boost productivity, but smallholders often lack access to those tools. Environmentally, deforestation and climate change have led to strict rules like the EU's deforestation law. Malaysian aim to keep 50% forest cover and promote sustainable farming. Legally, compliance and multiple regulation like MSPO and RSPO. Also, WROs add pressure, especially for smaller producers. In conclusion, while US tariffs are concerned, the real challenge lies in sustainability, labor rights, and legal compliance. The future of the industry depends on innovation, market diversification, and responsible practice. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I'm Safia binti Asmi. My metric number is 2240826. Today, I will briefly present the impact of US tariff on Malaysia's palm oil industry using a SWOT analysis and a Porter 5 forces. For SWOT analysis, Malaysia remains a top palm oil producer with a strong infrastructure and cost efficiency as a key strength. However, our reliance on a few export markets and environmental concerns are significant weaknesses. The US tariff opened up opportunities in regions like India, China, and the Middle East. There is also potential in sustainable products and diversification into biofuels and cosmetics. But we face threats from a global competition, price volatility, and the shift toward a sustainable alternative. For the Porter 5 forces, first, we got a new entrance, low trade due to high startup costs and regulation. Second one is a supply power, low as most producers control their supply chain, though costs may rise. Third is buyer power. High tariff push buyers to a cheaper option like Indonesia. And the next one is substitutes. Products like soybean oil are now more attractive in the US. And lastly is industry competition. Fierce competition abroad could lead to price cuts and reduce the profit. So, in conclusion, US tariffs have made the global environment more challenging, To stay competitive, Malaysia must boost efficiency, explore a new market, and prioritize sustainability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Anis Binti Umar Yusof, 224083, and today I'm going to present strategy and recommendation for SIM-Darbi implementation in response to trade restriction and the risk of future tariff, especially from the United States. This strategy are designed to strengthen the company resilience and global competitiveness. The first strategy is to diversify the market and product base. SIM-Darbi has historically relied on market like the US and Europe, but this creates vulnerability if trade policies suddenly change. To reduce this risk, the company should expand into emerging markets such as Middle East, Africa, and Central Asia, region where demand for palm oil is increasing and regulations are less restrictive. Alongside market diversification, SIM-Darbi also shift from exporting mostly crude palm oil to higher value product like refined oil, oleochemical or palm-based biopackaging material like create new revenue stream while making the company less sensitive to raw and commodity price volatility. The second strategy is to digital transform the supply chain. Global buyer and regulation now expect full traceability and transparency, especially in industry like palm oil. By adapting blockchain technology, SIM-Darbi can track its product from plantation to customer in real time. This helps build trust with buyer and support compliance with international ESG standards. Additionally, AI-powered analytics can be used to forecast disruption, optimize shipping, and improve productivity across plantation and processing facility. This tool ensure the company remain agile in a rapidly changing global trade environment. The third strategy is to reduce tariff exposure by processing product closer to large market. Rather than exporting low palm oil, SIM-Darbi could set up joint venture or acquire refining facility in countries like the United or Mexico. This downstream integration allow the company to avoid import tariff and raw material by producing and selling finished goods locally. It also brings SIM-Darbi close to the end consumer and enable better control over distribution and branding. In addition, the company could partner with local branded to co-product sustainable consumer goods such as soap, packaged food oil, or eco-friendly packaging. These partnerships strengthen SIM-Darbi present and resilient in high-value market. Now, let's consider a crisis scenario. What if tariff on SIM-Darbi palm oil export to US suddenly rise from 10% to 25%? In the short term, SIM-Darbi should immediately direct its export to other markets such as India, Pakistan, or Asian countries where demand is strong and tariffs are lower. At the same time, it can implement a pricing strategy where premium buyers absorb part of the cost, especially those who value sustainability certified palm oil. From the midterm, SIM-Darbi can activate its trade agreement like RCEP to stabilize its export flow. It should also launch RP campaign and use ESG improvement as leverage to build public and political goodwill in key market. In long term, localizing product by building or acquiring process facility in target countries like we mentioned earlier can help bypass tariff entirely. And with digital tools in place, the company and monitor trade policy shift in real time and act before disruption escalate. To summarize, SIM-Darbi can protect the growth its global presence through three core strategy: market and product distribution, digital supply transformation, and local processing in key export destination. Combined with robust crisis adaptation plan, this identity position can company thrive and in the face suddenly trade shock? Thank you.
The palm oil industry has long been a major contributor to Malaysia's economy, supporting both large corporations and smallholders across over 5 million hectares of land. However, as global concerns over deforestation, labor practices, and environmental sustainability, as they grow, the industry faces mounting pressure towards evaluation and also improvement. So, moving forward, Malaysia must focus on sustainable intensification. For instance, they can use smart farming technologies, high yield palm varieties, and precision agriculture to increase output without expanding the use of land. Strengthening transparency in the supply chain through blockchain and meeting ESG standards is also a key to regaining the global trust. So, smallholder inclusion, fair labor practices, and downstream innovation, for instance, bio based product and green energy, will definitely help diversify and future proof the sector. By shifting from a volume driven to an innovation led model, Malaysia can not only protect its natural resources but also they can position themselves as a global leader in sustainable palm oil production. Thank you.
Presentation, I would like to briefly acknowledge the contribution of each team member who played an important role in completing this project. As the team leader and project coordinator, I was responsible for organizing meetings, assigning tasks based on team strengths, consolidating all sections, and reviewing the final report for coherence and submissions. Our industry analysts focus on providing a comprehensive overview of the Malaysian palm oil sector and examine the rationale behind US tariff. The pastel analysts explore key macro-environmental factors, including political, social, and legal issues affecting the industry, especially in the post-tariff landscape. Our SWOT and portfolio forces analysts evaluated the industry internal capabilities and external threats, helping us understand the competitive pressures faced by Malaysian producers. The strategy developer proposed three practical strategies to overcome the challenge, along with a crisis adaptation plan in case of sudden tariff escalation. And finally, the future proofing and reflection lead crafted the long term vision, emphasizing innovation, environmental sustainability, and inclusivity. Together, this contribution reflects our collective effort to apply strategic management concept to a real world issue. Thank- In conclusion, the United States tariff on Malaysian palm oil are more than just trade barriers. They represent a turning point for the industry. These challenges have exposed a deep-rooted vulnerabilities, but they also offer us an opportunity to reinvent how the industry operates on global stage. To ensure long-term resilience, Malaysia must shift away from the expansion-based model and embrace one that prioritizes sustainability, innovation, and social inclusion. Investments in smart agriculture, digital traceability system, and sustainable intensifications will allow us to produce more fewer resources. We must also support smallholders, enforce ethical labor practices, and develop high value downstream products to compete globally, not just in volume but in value. By strengthening our environmental and social standards, we not only meet global expectations but also build lasting trust with international partners. Ultimately, the future of Malaysian palm oil industry depends on our ability to adapt and lead. Through strategic reform and collective effort, Malaysia has the potential to become a global benchmark for sustainable agriculture. That's all for me. Thank you.